What is up, Supervivors? For those that don't know, I do patch notes breakdowns for Smite and Smite 2, but I thought I'd take my hand at doing it for Supervive as well, which is going to be in Next Fest starting on October 14th and running through the 21st. And if you have not had a chance to play Supervive, A, now is the time to do so. B, now is also the time to wishlist it. You can find a link for that below. Make sure to try it out over the course of next week. I know I'll be playing a ton of it. I have loved all the playtests thus far, and I continue to be craving more of it to play. But with that, let's talk about some changes in the upcoming patch that have been posted here on Steam. If you need to check out the Firesides chat, you can go through and do that as well. Damage and time to kill. They said we've been trying to live in this narrow sweet spot for time to kill. And I will say, time to kill felt pretty good over the past several playtests, but there's room for some back and forth and fencing, and I do think that is good. But they said they've also taken a lot of complexity and noise with the new evolving equipment, so finding that zone is an ongoing journey, so it's still going to take some time. Overall, I think that's okay. They mentioned that they reverted a change from September playtest that increased the baseline damage reduction and armor damage reduction across all tiers, and armor damage reduction has been increased to the August playtest levels, being unarmored hurts more again, which is good. Audio enunciation for enemy attacks has been increased. You should be able to hear enemy actions from further away. The audio in this game is really, really well done, and I have to say it's one of the things that is really appealing about it is being able to use audio to track where your enemies are coming from. It's just a nice feature. It's really done well in Supervive. They fixed an issue with enemy footsteps not playing the correct sounds that distinguish from an ally or your own, and they fixed an issue with incorrect glider sounds. Power shards are what you can use to upgrade your equipment. It says, hey, you should probably share those. It'd be a good idea because if you die, they go everywhere, and then everybody knows you're not sharing them, so you should probably share them so they can upgrade their equipment. But every unused power shard you hold on to grants plus 2 AP as well. Cremation, which is basically if the enemy is downed and you want to finish them off. They fixed a bug where stomping a hunter who is cremated removes the effect. Fixing this bug does not mean cremated wisp gets stomped faster than before. It's still working the same as it was and how it's intended. Revive bar decay while cremated and not being revived is reduced by 50%. This means you won't lose your progress reviving an ally as quickly as you had before. For those that don't know how reviving works, you run over your friend that's down. If you're a Luna, she has the backpack passive, and she puts them in a backpack and revives them. But you have a bunch of different ways to revive your teammates. But when they're down state, you just stand over the top of them. Golden keys can now be used to open vaults and the armored chests they could open before. And hunters now have mastery missions. Each hunter mastery mission has a unique set of challenges. When completed, will grant XP towards a hunter's journey. These were already in the game before, but I think they're for every hunter now. They might have not been before. You can find these missions under Hunters Mastery in the main menu. Each mission has a unique call sign as a reward for completion. Please note that the progress and rewards will reset one more time before open beta. Visual updates. There is a massive overhaul to the visual updates of this game. It was already visually appealing. Now it's just better. So a note on soul anchors. If you played in the veteran test, we reverted the abyss aiming changes, but we have updated the glider balloon visual so it's easier to understand where to aim to hit the enemy. Here gives you an idea of the new HUD layout. It looks really, really good. The new stylization and clarity. All hunter portraits have been updated. Many monsters have had their visuals updated as well. Team colors have been updated for higher clarity. Hunters use a new aim laser. Overall, it's just really, really well done on this part. Along with that, there has been voiceover and localization done. Every hunter has received English voiceover lines. Several new contextual announcer recordings have been added as well. During this playtest, there's going to be cosmetic drops. So anybody that's part of that partner program has some of them as well. But if you're streaming, you're going to have some drops that you can give out, which is going to be pretty cool. So it says, due to player feedback, we swapped the "You Think I'm Boosted" voice line to a new Twitch drop emote and put that new voice line in a previous Twitch drop emote that says, "Ayo." You can still get both emotes during Next Fest. If for some reason you missed the end of the Steam Next Fest, you have the Ayo emote, but you think I'm Boost emote, you can DM us on Discord. But you better have a good reason, it says. Vibe points have been updated. Vibe points have been divided by 100, but that have the exact same functionality as they did before. and currency have been reset during this time. Use all the currency you want because it's going to reset again before open beta. So if there's a cosmetic you want to try out, make sure to do it. While I'm thinking about that, you can go on their website. You can purchase supporters packs. There are $19.99 and $44.99. So make sure to check those out. Map and visuals. Big visual changes, upgrades across the entire map. We looked at a lot of work into upgrading our base kit for the map, which means a lot of base map textures were improved. I mean, we saw it above. I think this game was already very stylized and pretty. It's just going to be better. Plane drops have a new path and drop types that have been added. Hot zones have gold armor spawns. These are not linked to any specific area. Gold armor zones can be in any biome now, not just the outer ones. So that's really nice. Academy, which was a book you could pick up and use to get XP, was really, really strong earlier on. They got rid of the green books. The blue book now only gives 50 XP instead of the 125 it had done before, and red book remains the same. Vault power drop rarity has been adjusted. Common vaults down to 15%, uncommon powers down to 75 or up to 75%, and rare powers down to 10%. So expect to see some more uncommon powers out there. Equipment updates. So tier 0 and tier 1 equipment no longer drop. Instead, killing minions will drop scraps, and that can be picked up to upgrade your items. We've seen this new evolving equipment idea that's there. It's going to be implemented in this playtest to try out. Scraps will prioritize upgrading your lowest tier equipment. Once both equipment is tier 3, which means it's blue, scraps will go towards your boots. Negative 5% of the time when a scrap would drop, a purple hyper scrap will drop that grants 3 pips instead. So, boots, we have new wisp kicks. These replace the alchemist. Jumping on an enemy wisp, kick them away from you. Bladed helm upgrades. Bladed helm now gives 5% less health, but it has a new persistence. While in combat, where you're dealing damage, you build up to 3 stacks. At 3 stacks, your next left mouse click against enemy hunter will heal you 3% of your max HP and grant permanent max health, scaling with your toughness and gigantism. Max health to AP conversion percent changed to 5%. Mana Blade upgrades. You have Bubble Blade, fixed a bug that caused the repeated shield instance on spells that ticked several instances of healing, notably Aluna's Moonlight Blessing. Aluna was really strong with that. Aluna is a really fun support character to play, but you can also build her as damage and have a fun time as well. Mind Blade, max mana to AP conversion has been lowered to 10%, was 33 before. Rampage AP per stack has been lowered from 10 to 5. But there is a new portion here that doubles granted bonus AP at max stacks. This means that it will give less AP than before, but until it reaches max stacks, at which it will give the same value as before. Mana Helm upgrades. All Mana Helms give 5% less health. Ambrush, once again, spawns Brush with you when you are stationary. Baseline Armor Shred is at 50%, was 200 from before. Armor Shred is going from 400 to 200%. Glacial Comet, lob time and damage were lowered. Scholar, every minute gain an additional plus 2 times toughness HP and plus 5 mana, max at 10 stacks. Quick Blade upgrades, Big Game Hunter. This replaces the gun knife. Gained movement speed stacks for killing major creeps, mini bosses, and bosses. At 5 stacks, transform into Zenith Blade, which grants AP based on 25% of your movement speed. So you get a little bit of movement going on, stacks into some damage. Tech Blade upgrades. Interweaver. Seeker missiles damage lowered from 70 to now 10 plus 8% of your AP. Power user, gain 15% stacking power haste for opening vaults. That's going to feel pretty good if you're one of those people that wants to, try to get that loot really quickly, especially with your team. At 2 stacks, transform into the Power Master. Your powers have become soulbound. Amplifier. Abilities refresh 5% faster. This effect stacks 10 times until you cast another ability. Tech helmet upgrades. All tech helmet items give 5% left health. I don't know why that's a brain teaser for me for some reason. A tongue twister, some would say. Soulbound. Damage no longer causes you to be spiked. That was funny, but not good for the game. Vive Infuser. Heal on dash converted from instant burst heal to 50% burst. 50% heal over time, which is overall probably just a better feeling mechanic for everybody involved. Vamp Blade upgrades. Soul Drain. Stomping or executing whiffs heals you 200 health per second. Swift Blade bonus damage at full charge has been lowered to 20 instead of 80. Overdrive now has 3% Omnivamp, and overheals generate a shield equal to 50% is now going to be 100% of the overheal, which is kind of crazy for the Vamp Blades. I actually really liked Vamp Blades before, but these, for the people that have played the older playtest, these new equipment upgrades and the way that they're structured are just going to be better for the game. It's going to allow you to Theorycraft, per se, and actually develop builds for your characters, for your hunters, and feel good about them. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out, how people feel about it, because I know before, like trying to track down certain items and hopefully you get an extra one, you can keep stacking and upgrading that equipment. It could be frustrating at times because sometimes you just felt like, okay, I just need to dump this item because I'm finding so much of this other for my build. So I think this new upgrade system is going to feel really good. I think it gives more build diversity, and build diversity, in my opinion, is always best for any MOBA-esque game. Now, there is a bunch of new powers. Okay, powers are things you can pick up, and they're like active items. Now, I'm going to list out the new items that are coming. I'm not going to go through all these, but we are getting Icarus Glide and Wisp Vacuum. And then we have all the ones from before for exotic powers. Non-power exotics are Endless Reaper and Glide Boots. And then from there, we have our rare powers and uncommon powers. You can go through, check all those out. There are a ton of them to just add to the chaotic twists and fun of the games and team fights. Now, there is several hunter changes here, along with characters being renamed from what they were in their beta/alpha state. There's balancing, and there's ability leveling changes across the board here. Several hunters have received updates to their ability names, and most ability tooltips have been updated. So, Bishop. We're nerfing Tank Bishop because Tank Bishop did a lot of damage. So, toughness has been lowered to 4.5. Rocket Launcher, which is your left mouse click, and your Displacement Charge, your right mouse click, and Haymaker and Blast Off. Damage makeup tuned from roughly 66% of base and 33% AP is now going to be 50-50. This is going to feel better in the long haul, but you are going to lose that 66% base, which feels a little bit bad probably earlier on. Overall, I think this is a fine change. I think it's going to feel better across the board. Displacement Charge, they have a new level 3 upgrade. Now resets Haymaker, your Q, cooldown if you punch a satchel. So Bishop, getting some slight tweaks here. Overall, healthier for the game, and hopefully feel pretty good. Brawl, the man with the sword that runs around and does sword things. You know, his left mouse button, damage reduced by 5%. Empowered state, damage reduced by 5%. Adaptive strike, damage increased by 10%. Flame step, with new level 3 upgrade, dashing leaves a clone behind. If the clone is hit with a projectile, Brawl gains stacks of Blazing Spirit passive. That's actually kind of sick. Phase Steel Chain, tether speed reduced from 2350 to 2150. It's a soft cap. And 2700 to 2550 at full speed. And overall, Brawl does this really fun mechanic where the more you hit people, the faster you move. And then if you phase steal people, then it's going to feel really good for you. He just wants to get up in your face and do lots of damage. Aluna, toughness has been lowered to 4. Crescent Bolt, the left mouse click, is base damage and damage per stack has been increased to 10%. Max burn increased to 5 instead of 4. And movement speed penalty while firing Crescent Bolts has been reduced. Aluna is one of my favorite characters in the game. She's just really fun to play. She does a lot of healing, and she's just an interesting character to play when your teammates get down. You put them in a backpack and run around with them, and that's just fun. Felix, one of my other favorite characters to play, the man with the pyromancy. Toughness lowered to 4.5, was 5 before. Ignite passive, once again, reduces the cooldown of his level 3 ability by 20% when Felix applies or upgrades Ignite. Heat Shield, his Q, cooldown increased to compensate for the passive change from 12 to 8 seconds, now 12 to 10 seconds. Ghost, his Spike Grenade, which is his right mouse click, days duration on directly stuck enemies increased to 0.2 seconds. Days slow increased to 40%. Now respects line of sight. This is actually a really good change for Ghost because Spike Grenade has one of those things that sometimes didn't feel particularly great. I think this is a good buff for this. Combat Slide, minimum cooldown on tap dash increased to 4 seconds. Arcane Railgun, his Q, beam damage increased by 10%. Yam dampening lowered by 10%. This means you can move your beam around more after you cast it than before. I like that change. I think that's good for Ghost. And I have some people that really like playing Ghost. I haven't particularly cared for him, but I know a lot of people that do. Summon Napalm. Colors updated to make it easier to distinguish between ally and enemy Napalms. The overall really good changes for Ghost here. And, I'm going to give him another go this week. I'm going to be playing a lot of Supervive. Hopefully I get through all these characters and we get through how I feel about them after the first couple days. Hudson, who was formerly known as Gunner, and he gets his toughness lowered to 4.5. Salvager passive. Hudson regenerates 1% of his armor per second when out of combat. His minigun no longer has a heat or overheat mechanic. That is kind of crazy. Fires immediately on, press at slower base fire rate. I don't know how I feel about him not having an overheat mechanic. This could be really interesting for this playtest. Overclock, his right mouse click, formerly his Q. Press and hold to increase the spin rate of your minigun barrels. Release the button to spin them back down. Spins up and down over 1 second. The faster your barrel spins, the slower you move, and the more your turn rate is restricted. So if you're firing faster, you can't move as much. At 90% bonus spin rate, your shots become empowered, dealing 10% bonus damage and healing you for 0.3% maximum health every time they hit an enemy. So this is why they removed the overheat mechanic, because he's going to be super slow. I still think this change is a bit dangerous. We'll have to see how it plays out, but overall, I like the overclock idea. Hover Jets, his shift now has 2 charges. Recharge rate is 13 seconds, 10 seconds at level 2. When you collide with an enemy during hover, you now deal low damage to them and knock them back. Damage and knockback scale with your momentum. Salvage Hook, his R. Salvaging an enemy this way drops a scrap engine pickup for your allies and restores 25% of their health and armor. That's actually super sick. Jin, who is formerly known as Stalker. Ashgara Warblade, his left mouse button. That's the name of his weapon. Okay. No longer applies a mark on enemies. His right mouse click, level 3 upgrade, still applies the mark, though. Reduced bonus armor shred by 1 and added 0.1 seconds wind down to attacks. Flash Dagger. Visual updated and damage at max range reduced. Fey-like Clone, his R. Clone now aims at cursor, is generally better at following orders. We'll have to see how this plays out for Jin. I don't think Jin was particularly high on my play chart. I saw him played a few times and he felt okay. Now, I didn't play him in the more recent playtests, so he might be just drastically better, but I was interested in how his kit is set up because he's so assassin-like that it feels really interesting. But curious to see how he plays. I'll be giving him a go for sure. Jewel, who has always been fun to play. Lightning Strike is the Q. Ability warm-up visual updated to be much louder and noticeable. That's really good. Voltaic Spear, the right mouse button, now does explosive damage. That's sick. That's a good change for Jewel. I like this. Nice. Kingpin, my least favorite hunter, because his passive doesn't make sense for his kit. But that's fine. He is really, really good. I just don't care for him too much. I like having him on my team. Here's the thing, and I'll be honest, I'm just not particularly good with him. So that's probably why I don't like him. But new level 3 upgrade now applies up to 75% bonus damage based on Kingpin's distance from the ground when cast. That's sick. For reference, a jump into a dash into Primal Slam will give around 30% bonus damage with this upgrade. It's up to you to imagine. Okay, this is sick. This is good. Kingpin might be cracked. Myth had some changes aimed at the skill floor. I think this is really good. Myth is a character that's kind of hard to get into. So base health lowered to 850, health per level lowered to 51. Now, left mouse button adjusting the timing for green shots to feel more linear, less of a pause in the middle. I think that's really, really good. Fixed a bug where the perfect timing green shots were not going the full distance. The right mouse button, Heart Piercer, knockback amount is weighted much more towards the charge time and less towards the distance of the shot. Ooh, I like that. Minimum charge time before firing, now at 0.4 seconds. Can no longer hold infinitely. That's a nice change. Level 3 upgrade, now gain a charge of Phase Walk, your shift, whenever you successfully wall stun with the Heart Piercer. Nice. Rain of Arrows, arc width increased up close, decreased at long range. All this is good. Myth, these are all great changes for Myth. Expect to see a good bit of Myth. Oath, toughness lowered to 6. Magnetic Hammer, the left mouse button now charges twice as fast. That's really good. Damage ratios have been adjusted from 50% base damage, 50% ratios, now 33 and 66. I think that's fine. Spin dash, level 3 upgrade change. Hitting an enemy with your spin dash resets shield bash, your right mouse button. Oath was already good. I'm about this. Our good buddy Asmore really liked playing Oath and may have killed me during a playtest as my teammate because he hit an explosive barrel when I was in the air. Oath is an interesting and fun character to play as a support and tank. These are good changes for Oath. I'm excited about that. Shiv, Master Assassin passive, increase Master Assassin stack duration to 5 seconds. Arc Slinger Pistol, your left mouse button. Base damage has been reduced. Empowered damage increased. And damage per Master Assassin stack increased from 6.8 to 8. With the changes to Master Assassin passive, Arc Slinger Pistols does less damage at 0 to 2, Master Assassin pass stacks, and more damage at plus 3 stacks. So scaling the damage earlier to make it stack more late. I like that. Chain Bolas, your right mouse button, at level 3 now applies 2 stacks of Master Assassin passive to the target hit. No longer provides bonus 0.5 stun duration at level 3. That's probably great for the health of the game. Quick Flip, your shift, base cooldown has been reduced to 6.5 seconds. Speed buff after using Quick Flip increased to 11.5%. That's really, really nice. So move speed bonus properly gets removed when you take damage. Fair Step Dagger. Your Q now applies a 50% slow to enemies, and at level 3 applies 2 stacks of Master Assassin passive to the target hit. This is really good. Getting rid of the stun and giving the slow here was a good change. And Full Say decreased the damage from 45 to 42. Overall, really good changes to Shiv. I think health of the game wise, I think this is really, really, really well done. I think this fixes some of the things with her that could have been frustrating to play against, but I also think as a player that liked playing Shiv, these just feel good. Shrike, the tried and true, the sniper that takes everybody down, can be super frustrating to play against because she just does damage and gets away, but super fun to play, is getting some changes here. So True Talon Rifle, your left mouse click. Shrike can hold left mouse click to continuously fire her rifle. That's really cool. Disengage, the shift, knocks always reset disengage. Ooh. Level 3 upgrade causes the projectile to mark targets with their passive. Dive Bomb at level 3 now lowers the ability cooldown by 2 seconds and increases the cremate burn rate of wisps that it hits. That's really cool. There's no longer grants a second charge level 3. I think that's good. Dive Bomb was kind of cracked at level 3. Scout Hawk, new level 3 upgrade, increased the vision radius by 50%. This is awesome. I love this. No longer marks enemies. That's fine. This is really, really good. Full bore, projectile size increased by 50%. And this is really good too. And damage reduced by 33%. I really like this change. Overall, great changes for Shrike. Zeph, Mending Breeze, heal amount lowered to 20%. At level 3, now grants a short movement speed to the target. No longer grants a 4th charge. Overall, Zeph wasn't really super crazy. Just some light changes here I think feel good. Quality of life changes, WSAD canceling. Several actions are WSAD cancelable, including placing chonker. Yes. Repairing armor, cooking food. Most actions are WSAD cancelable by 0.25 seconds after the initial cast. Overall, that's a good change. Trees now have a small volume in the middle of the tree that grants you the same effect as a bush. That's sick. Cast range and hover. Hovering over an ability will display their cast ranges. I really like that. Settings, you can now toggle off-camera smoothing. Nice. And you now have the ability to aim, laser, playtest the cursor. Okay. Other notable bug fixes are here. You have minimap, vision cone, abyss aiming, some fixes for Jewel, powers, Felix, reconnect. Hunter should no longer sail into the sky when crashing while mid-physics motion. Some performance stuff, Celeste, Zeph, Bishop, Jin, and Kingpin all getting some likely changes here. But hopefully that gives you just a little bit of, if you played before, what to expect in this playtest as far as differences. If you haven't played before, this gives you an idea of just some of the abilities for the different hunters. If you have questions, make sure to drop in the stream throughout the week, twitch.tv/BlazeMcBain. Below, you'll find a link for that. You'll find a link to go wishlist this and support me as a creator. If you want to join in some games, like come by, hang out on the stream, join in with the community, join the Discord. We're going to have a bunch of different people playing the game. I think we already have like 8 or so that have just really enjoyed it and hopefully getting some more in. And I hope you see you all out there on the map, superviving around and theorycrafting some builds. We'll catch you all later, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in your comments below what you're looking forward to the most and what changes would you like to see to these type of patch notes breakdowns. Catch y'all later. Peace.